Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GBYWN Australia podcast. This is episode number 74, and here today, once again, with a special guest host, Night Stalker Daniel Johnston.
Hello, glad to be here once again.
And DJ, as we know, we're here today to review the last WZWA show that took place in January, Hostile Backyard Showdown 2017.
What a fucking stacked show it was as well.
Stacked card, man.
Stacked card, amazing show. As a fan, really a thrill to be in attendance for that show. Really fucking enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to breaking it down DX style here today.
Fuck yeah, DJ. And, this card was actually going to be 12 matches long. But due to a couple of no-shows, we were able to push it back to 11. As we know, many people are coming back as we're coming towards the end of our tenure in WZWA. But we'll get to that at the end of the show. But, DJ, let's just get straight fucking into it, eh?
Well, I mean, I think before we start breaking it down, though, what were your overall thoughts on the show yourself?
Well, I would say we would save that for the end.
As wrestler.
Don't we talk about that at the end?
Well, we're trying to kind of recap things. We want to kind of have like a pre-analysis thought.
I'd say this show was one of the top 10 shows in WZWA's history.
Really?
On a fun factor. I had so much fun. I had more fun at this show than any in recent memory.
I'd have to concur with that statement, actually. I think as an overall show, like all the factors going into it, fun, socializing, the actual quality of the wrestling itself, the crowd, this has been one of the overall complete package shows.
Lots of laughter too.
Lots of laughter. Laughter and love.
We're not taking it as seriously as we once did. We're still taking it seriously when you need to.
We're taking the wrestling seriously.
Yes, but we're also having a bit more fun and being a little bit more ridiculous with some of the stories that are going on within
kind of
the war
almost
zone.
A bit of a hybrid of XCW and ICWS.
Yeah,
like,
and I think it's been great recently. I think Christmas Carnage was a good show, and I think this is a step up, and who knows how much better it's going to get before we get to the final show, April 22nd, 2017, Resolution 5.
I think we're really getting back to the point, a lot of the boys seem to be back into it, people are throwing themselves back into the thick of things, and yeah, it's been really, really enjoyable. So, first match, Kilowatt Chaos, who's been on an absolute roll, by the way, versus our main man.
My boy. My boy.
He our boy. Big Ace.
Big Ace.
Big fucking Ace.
He's my boy, man. He's our boy.
He's
everyone's boy.
The boy.
He's the boy.
He's the boy.
He's not a bad boy. He's not a good boy.
He's just the boy. If he came out number 30 in the Royal Rumble, it'd still be fucking better than what that abomination was.
Fuck
but this
that
is
cunt.
This is not some fucking gay WWE podcast with some fucking faggots analysing it. So am I swearing too much already?
No, you're fucking not. We are reviewing a backyard wrestling show, and that makes us better than those fat, ugly pieces of shit that review WWE. Am I right or what, DJ?
Fat, ugly virgins.
Yeah.
Fucking can't get a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, Chaos versus Big Ace. Looking through my notes here. Fucking first thing right off the bat. Great psychology in this match. Great story was told.
Agreed.
First note that I want to mention here, I've got to kind of gather myself. We've just started. I'm trying to fucking, get in the thick of it. But Kilowatt Chaos has really shown, that veteran skill of being able to take a less experienced opponent through the match and really help him construct a good story. So I think he deserves a lot of credit for this great match as well. The psychology of this match with Chaos, for a very rare occasion actually being the smaller of the two opponents, really, really worked for me. Two powerful guys, but Ace is that much bigger than Chaos, and I think that they really played up that element of the story. And I think that it was really effective, and the crowd really responded well to it, starting from that opening power slam. And it was a very physical match too. Ace has really been stepping it up with his strikes. He's really been laying the moves in. You can also just tell that Ace is starting to find his footing a bit more in terms of how he moves around the space in the ring, and just knowing that placement, knowing how to take, a solid bump, kind of knowing to keep it in the center of the ring. So, yeah, this is really a standout match of his, and for Chaos as well.
And I would say, for me personally, I've seen just a boost of confidence in Big Ace in his performances. He's hitting harder. He really belted Chaos a couple times in that match, and I was really enjoying the physicality between the two of them. Obviously, as you said, seeing Chaos work, from underneath as a smaller guy in this matchup is always an interesting thing to see, because he's always the dominant one. But yeah, very impressed with Big Ace, and it's just a shame that he's really coming to the game right near the end of WZWA, because who knows, the sky would be the limit if WZWA were to continue.
Big Ace, WZWA heavyweight champion.
I could see it happening. I could see it as well, also in the match, really great story told. On the critical side of things, the interference from Phoenix looked a bit wonky. I don't know if the guys got lost or something like that, or what was going on, but I just think that could have been tightened up a little bit, the execution of that. It's not that it was bad, but it just probably, if anything, could have been just cleaned up a little bit. Well, the whole thing was because Chaos was supposed to lift his arm, and in one motion, as he lifted the arm, it was supposed to be snatched out of his hands, but Phoenix wasn't in position in time, so Chaos kind of had to hold the tonfa in the air for waiting for Phoenix to run out and grab it. He finally grabbed it, but then when he grabbed it, he talked trash for a second instead of just hitting Chaos straight away, so it felt a little bit disjointed.
And the other thing that I've got down here, the pinfall of the match after that great-looking Shazam, sold like a boss like Chaos. The only thing was the pinfall took place very close to the ropes. And I'm guilty of that as well, because at the same show, the finish of my match took place really close to the ropes, and we'll get to that later. But just if he could have dragged Chaos to closer towards the center and made the pin, I think that would have just been the cherry, on top of the cake. That's nitpicking, obviously, but we're also here in these reviews to try and help the guys.
And I want to say about Ace, I feel like he's getting stronger.
Yeah.
Like, he used to be pretty, unstable on his feet if he was picking people up. And he's picking up Chaos, who's probably the heaviest guy he's ever picked up. Every time he's hit the Shazam, it's been on someone significantly lighter than him.
Yeah.
So to actually pick Chaos up onto his shoulder and hit that Shazam, I was impressed, because I thought he might have a hard time getting him up there, but very well executed.
Did it well, and I think these two had a great match, and it started the show off on the right note. The crowd was into it, I was into it. Ace is my boy.
2 big wins in a row, bro. He's beaten Luke Monet and Kilowatt Chaos, 2 former big champions of backyard wrestling.
Yeah, so he's really on his way up, and I think he's, closing in on finishing WZWA on a real high note, and I look forward to him being one of the highlights of the shows from here on out until the end.
And there's one thing we may have forgotten, DJ.
Which is what?
The attack after the match from Arthur Aries, making his return after 2 years' absence.
A-double. Arthur Aries makes his return. The crowd was into it. Aries looked like he was really, into it as well. Happy to be back out there. He was feeling it. He looked aggressive. Cut a nice little promo, immediately re-establishing himself as the heel.
I love his accent.
Yeah.
It's just, and he's so easily unlikable as a character.
Yeah, the facial expressions, he just pulls it off. So it was really, it's interesting to see where that's going to go in the future. Former tag team partners. Ace is really, a lot of people probably expected him to be the Marty Jannetty of their team early on, because Arthur Aries is obviously, quite a talented wrestler in his own right, but now we've got a really interesting situation going on here where, like, Big Ace is actually the one that's really, stepped up and made a big name for himself while Aries has been gone. So this is really intriguing from a storyline point of view, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what these guys can bring out in that storyline going forward.
And it really is an exciting time in WZWA DJ, where recently we had the return of Clint Marshall. This show now we had 3 other guys return from the past who are big parts of WA yarding. So, they're all coming back all towards the end of WZWA, and I'm fucking thrilled about it. And very well done to Arthur Aries. And it's good to have you back, bro.
It is definitely good to have him back. Next match on the card was myself versus Luke Monet.
Wow, the Lord of the Ring, and formerly known as the Night Stalker, Daniel Johnston. This was a match that I've been wanting to book for quite some time. You guys worked once in ICWS, DJ.
Yep.
How would you compare the two?
Well, this match was my personal preference over the two. I enjoyed the match in ICWS, but the spirit of that match was different. That was a bit more of a fun match. We were just kind of enjoying that day. It wasn't really a very big show. It was really fun working with Luke, though, especially on the bass. And
if you want to check out that match, search for ICWS All About That Bass 2015. Continue.
That's right. DJ. It is available on YouTube.
Yep.
All About That Bass.
For the low price of free.
This match, we really picked up the physicality. I think that there was a good flow to the match. I don't really want to talk too much about it because it was, I was in it, so I don't feel like it's right to really be reviewing my own work. But yeah, I was personally happy with it, and I think Luke really made me look good out there. And, he took care of me. I didn't get injured or anything like that. And I was happy that I was able to hang with him and, take a few moves, get knocked around a bit. Glad to get the win. I will say, personally, I was disappointed in myself that when I locked in the armbar, we were so close to the ropes, because he really could have just easily grabbed the ropes. So, nitpicking again, but yeah. I mean, if there's anything that I disliked about the match, it was probably that. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, my thoughts on the match, I was impressed with Luke. Obviously, in the midst of a babyface turn, he didn't really go with any heel tactics in the match. It was just a good, solid back-and-forth contest, lots of physicality. I loved all the moves that Monet hit on you. The blockbuster off the top was awesome. A tornado DDT, that's something that you never really take. A lot of great moves that were hit by Monet, and obviously, you with your moveset, you make sure that every single match you hit your moveset. Obviously, the clothesline and of everyone's beloved senton.
Yep. The stuff on the outside as well, I really enjoyed doing that. Got a bit physical and, which I haven't really been known to do too much of, so it was fun doing a little bit of that here.
Yep, and it was the match that I wanted to see you two have just before WZWA ended, because who would have thought, after all the years we've all been in the Federation, that Luke Monet versus Daniel Johnston one-on-one had not happened. So somewhat of a dream match, series match. So, with that being said, very good start to the show, the first 2 matches. After the match, though, Luke Monet is hit with a
got fucking
pile driver. What do you call it?
Package pile
driver by Antilochus.
My boy Andy yucked Luke Monet with a package pile driver.
Yep.
Well executed, well taken, well sold. Just a great fucking move. Great little clip that we can use. And
then Jack Wallace stood up for Luke Monet.
And it looks like the franchise
is
may be getting back together.
Yep. Even though they have been in the originals for some time now. Now they're splitting into 2 separate entities. The franchise now will finally be back together in some form or fashion, which is pretty damn cool as far as I'm concerned. I will say this about the promo that Luke Monet cut after the match. I thought it was a very good promo, but he had just been kicked out of the originals. I would have saved the babyface promo for the next event, because to have that sudden change of heart okay, the fans were cheering for the franchise. Maybe in some crazy universe, a character could have a change of heart on the spot like that.
Well, I mean, you kind of, it's best to let that stuff sort of, like, sink in.
Yes.
Before you... it's like if Randy Orton gets kicked out of Evolution on Raw, he's not going to come back and cut a promo about how he's a babyface and all this shit. The same episode of Raw. He's going to come out...
In the same segment.
He's going to come out the next week on Raw and his music's going to hit and then he's going to, everyone's like, what's he going to have to say about that?
Here's an example I like to use, DJ. When the Great Shinigami was kicked out of the Black Carnival, Tim wanted to make his comeback against the Black Carnival within the same show, and get this, with new theme music and a new mask. Why the fuck would he do that?
Why can't you just wait a few weeks?
He couldn't. He just wanted everything then and there, and if he couldn't get it then and there, he'd fucking throw a tantrum.
Do it at the following show, and
I tried to tell him, you got to wait, let these things sink in, and then we can tell the story. You don't have to blow your load immediately. But anyway, we don't need to be talking about that cunt too much.
He's just very excitable, I think, and so again, nitpicking, but yeah, Monnet probably could have waited until the next show to cut that promo, but yeah.
That is nitpicking a little bit, but hey, it's alright. It was a good promo.
It was a good promo.
DJ, what we got next?
We have...
Oh yeah, I want your thoughts on the possible clashing now between Antilochus and Rex Regum and the franchise.
Well, I think that we could be in for some really good tag team matches, some really good exchanges between those four wrestlers. They all work well together. They're the originals, so they have that chemistry, but they're all in their own right, really good wrestlers. They all bring their own thing to the table. I think Jack definitely does his best work as part of the franchise. He seems to always step it up in ring when he's in those tag team matches. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. And obviously we know that Regum and Antilochus have been a tag team before as well. We know that they work as a tag team. Obviously they're both great wrestlers too. So yeah, I think that it's something to really look forward to.
Did the after the match with you and Monet, did Regum lay you out with the
Yes.
That's one thing I will mention.
But I called that, though.
You did call it on the spot, but Vincent Graves was standing there, and I guess with Gareth's inexperience, it kind of looked like he wasn't sticking up for you as your tag team partner. Do you feel like that's maybe I'm nitpicking, or do you feel it's...
I think it's not really, in the grand scheme, it doesn't really matter, but I think that if anything, then that's on the more experienced of us, kind of for putting him in that situation, because Gareth's the kind of guy that he likes to know exactly what's
happening. Yeah.
What should my positioning be? When should I be ready for this? And that kind of got sprung on him. But I also think that them trying to clothesline him over the ropes when he's never taken that bump before.
Then you can hear me yell from the crowd, there was no way he was going to take that. There's no fucking
Never
way.
Works out that well when people improvise that kind of shit on the fly. And, but it is what it is. So,
it is what it is, and it still continues the feud with you and Rex Regum.
Yes.
Right, DJ, match number 3.
Clyde, our other boy, versus Deacon.
Everyone's our boy.
Yeah, everyone's our boy.
Clyde and Deacon, Dream Match Series match. These two had never worked one-on-one before. I thought it was an okay performance.
It was good. I enjoyed the kind of physicality of it. Like, it looked pretty high octane. Looked like they were both really going in there to prove something. Deacon, my boy, you're bumping, getting a little sloppy, needs to be improved. Every single time I saw Deacon take a back bump in this match, his left foot would hit the ground before the rest of his body. I don't know why that's suddenly happening, but I think maybe you need to get in the ring and have like a little refresher course in bumping, remind your body like how to throw the arms out and tuck the chin.
You've got to attack that mat, brother.
Otherwise it just kind of sort of takes away from the illusion a little bit, and if anything, you're putting yourself in more danger like of injuring your ankle or your foot or your leg by kind of bumping in that way. You need to land totally flat and evenly distribute the energy of the landing throughout the body.
And even when Clyde hit the Clyde effect on him, I don't think Deacon actually jumped.
No, he didn't really jump. Again, not picking,
with the legs kicking out.
Picking on you, Deacon.
Not picking on you.
We're trying to help, and you do really need to kind of consider the bumping going forward, and really try to work on that, rekindle that really clean bumping that I know that you're capable of, because I've seen you do it before. And that brings me to Clyde, whose elbow drop is really starting to look sloppy. Yeah.
I mean, I stopped doing mine because his was so good that I was like, well, there's no point me doing it because his is better than mine. But now mine is better than his, so I might bring it back.
If you're going to commit to an elbow drop, Brandon, you need to commit to it. I know that it can probably be a little bit intimidating, especially with the elbow drop, because you're worried about like how you're going to land on the opponent. Are you going to hurt him? But you shouldn't attempt it if you don't think that you can land it flush and do it safely, because you're landing on your feet, which is dangerous. You could injure your legs, similarly to how I was saying with Deacon a moment ago, and you can also hurt your upper body, and you can hurt the opponent as well by kind of landing really sloppily and not really doing it flush.
And the thing is, he knows how to hit it, because I remember in his first match he ever had against Mike Delcano, flush fucking elbow drop from the top rope, and I was like, fuck, it's better than mine already.
I think you just have to, next time you try and do it, bro, you just have to go for it, you know? Don't be too stressed out about this or that. Just go for it, and I think you'll find once you just jump off the ropes and go for it that you can easily adjust while you're in the air and just hit it clean. Because I have been noticing it. I'm worried. We don't want anyone to get injured, and it's one of those things where it's kind of not worth hitting it if you're not going to be able to execute it properly. Once again, not picking on anyone, just trying to help, just giving our observations. So please try and clean that up. Steele Kemsley made a run in. I know that you're...
Let me take it away from you, teacher.
Go ahead.
All right. Boys, I got you all together at ringside before the match happened to explain very carefully the positioning that needed to take place, how things needed to go in order for it to work for everyone. Now, Brandon, you did start it off well. You had Deacon right on the diagonal the way that you needed to, but his head might have needed to have been the other direction, so you could have done the elbow with your other elbow. So that's why it looked a little bit disjointed, because I think you were used to your elbow going the other direction toward the head, not the legs. But not just that. That was the cue then for Steele to come out. Steele, you didn't listen to me properly. I thought maybe I should have explained it again, but I thought I was pretty clear. You come out, you blow the party whistle thingy to the crowd. You've got the hat on. You've got the 2017 sunglasses, celebrating the new year. You should have been yelling, "Happy New Year, everyone! Happy New Year!" so they knew what the fuck you were doing. Then you get onto the ring apron as Clyde has Deacon for the Clyde effect. He's picked him. He didn't even pick him up for the move. Clyde was already turned around looking at Steele on the outside, and Clyde is at the ropes. The spot's supposed to be Clyde's holding Deacon and turns around to see Steele on the ring apron, but at this point Clyde was already right at the spot where he wasn't even supposed to be in the first place. What needed to happen was that Clyde would turn around with Steele on the ring apron. He would take 2 steps towards him after Steele says, "Happy New Year, you poofter." Then Deacon would get up, because he obviously has recovered now from the elbow drop, hasn't been hit with the Clyde effect, charges at Clyde, Clyde sidesteps him, boom, straight into Steele. Yes, you guys did that, but it looked a little bit silly, because Brandon is standing face to face with Steele, and Steele, all you're doing is blowing the party whistle. You're not actually saying to him, "Happy New Year, poofter." You're not saying anything. That was the whole point. You're supposed to have said something to get Clyde to come towards you. But you guys were already face to face. It was a bit silly. But then once Deacon collided with Steele, and Steele went to the outside, then from there everything went to plan. He hit the Clyde effect, got the pin, went straight after Steele, started the beatdown, and DJ, what came next?
John motherfucking Kemsley.
John motherfucking Kemsley.
John motherfucking Kemsley. One more time. John motherfucking Kemsley. John Kemsley makes his debut and comes out, and the audience goes wild, and he's looking good, he's looking fresh, he's got his hair done up to the nines, he's got his suit on, he's got his sunnies on, he comes out, confronts Clyde, cuts a hell of a little promo, and then knocks Clyde the fuck out. Father and son raise their arms, the crowd loves it, and every single person in the arena, man, woman, child, and Hank, was fucking loving it.
Everyone was loving every little moment of John motherfucking Kemsley. So fucking good.
Bro.
We had this idea going for like a month, me, Steele, and Brandon, about having John actually get involved in something. And John was all for it. John was excited.
John was keen.
He went up to his Maserati during the match. He got into his suit.
How sick is it that he drives a Maserati?
Dude, so sick that he drives... Actually, you know what? It's fucking pure.
It's pure.
It's pure.
It is pure.
That he drives a Maserati. His wife is fucking hot.
Smoking. You got a hot mum still.
You got a hot
mum,
bro.
Hot mum, bro.
So hot.
So hot.
John's nervous. He's excited. He's nervous. He's like, oh, I hope I do well. I hope I do well. Went out there, fucking killed it. Everyone loved it, and it was something that just had to happen before WZWA ended. John motherfucking Kemsley.
You know, Gareth was actually telling me that one of the things he loved about yarding was just the fact that we've now had the parent of one of our wrestlers appear as part of the show, simply because of everyone just talking about it on Facebook, how much we love the guy. And he comes out and just blows us all away. It's everything that you could want it to be. John motherfucking Kemsley
steals the show.
Steals the show. Stolen. Where's the show? Don't know. It's in the back of a truck somewhere in some warehouse.
I heard that
John outside Platinum Realty.
John got arrested after the show. Why? Because he stole the show.
He's a fucking criminal, a handsome devil, but a criminal.
He's a smooth criminal.
He's a pure criminal.
He's a pure criminal.
Because that motherfucking show is somewhere in the warehouse at Platinum Realty, because he fucking stole it. John motherfucking Kemsley.
6-star fucking customer service brought to the war zone. And I tell you what,
6-star customer service, 6-star promo, 6-star sex appeal,
6-star man.
6-star man.
John motherfucking Kemsley. Right, DJ, what's next?
So, after that appearance of John motherfucking Kemsley, we got 55 live.
Oh, God, like, just as we thought it couldn't get any better. And now we've got to deal with 55
Which has
live.
been, if anyone's been listening to these podcasts, you know that 55 Live has become my favourite part of the WZWA. Jack Wallace comes out, brings the scales. Who's going to accept the open challenge? It turns out to be none other than Mojo Flow, one of the two men that Jack defended the title against at the previous event, and you know how much both Carl and myself loved that match, and how well received it was by the audience as well. Mojo Flow, annoying as fuck, comes out, weighs in. He ends up having to strip down out of his ring gear into nothing but his underwear. No shoes, no shirt, no pants, no nothing except a pair of underwear. Because when he was wearing clothes, he weighed about 55.5 kilos, so he had to shed 50 grams on the fly in order to contend for the match.
Yeah.
So it must have been carrying a little bit of water weight from lunch.
Yeah.
But in any case, Jack Wallace comes out. He's doing some of the best work of his yarding career.
Did we mention the dildo?
Not yet.
Oh.
Not yet. We're still at the beginning. So he cuts a great little promo, cutting his open challenge. Just a great fucking promo, as we've come to expect from Jack in the last few months. He's really throwing himself into this character and this gimmick and this idea, and we're all digging it, dude. So the match...
It's been the best thing you have ever done.
The best thing you have ever done.
Yeah.
So the match begins. We're already off to some really funny stuff. Some good, solid wrestling in the beginning. Then a great little flying head scissors on the outside. And then the dildo gets introduced. A double-sided dildo, a fat cock, rammed up Mojo Flow's ass crack. And that was only the beginning of the dildo's involvement in this match. I'm going to need Carl to fill in some of those blanks, because I don't remember every single dildo-related spot. But it was well used. It was very funny. Got in my notes here, dildo, gold, because the stuff incorporating the dildo was very, very funny. And I think that the dildo itself will become kind of another, little meme within WZWA of, kind of like Hank, but inanimate and dick-shaped.
Very nice. Just tremendous. Tremendous stuff. Monet came to me with this idea, and actually Tash had helped him with the idea.
Tash, smoking hot from the UK.
Oh, bro.
Smoking
what a saucy
hot.
Little
What
bit of crumpet.
What a saucy little piece of crumpet.
What are you, second in charge here? Or repeating every
I'd like to take her out for tea. And
who are you? Are you Shmee and I'm Captain Hook? Am I Shmee?
Listen, we're getting off track. This is a serious wrestling podcast.
I was expecting you to argue with me that it's Smee, not Shmee.
It is Smee, though.
I thought it's Shmee. Isn't it
It's
Shmee?
not Shmee. He's not a fucking...
Is it Sega or is it Sega?
It's not John Smith. It's not like you're not... What are you, like... Sega or Sega? I mean, if you're a faggot from America, you might say Sega.
It's Sega. It's always been Sega.
It's Sega.
When
it's
you
not
turn it on, it goes, Sega.
Dude, it's not Bob Sega, old-time rock and roll. It's fucking Bob Seger.
Yeah, because it's got an ER. With an A, it turns it into Sega.
No, it doesn't.
Well, wouldn't it be Sega?
No, it's just Sega.
No, it's bullshit.
It's just Sega.
What were we talking about again?
Natasha's hot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, bro.
We love Natasha.
We prefer her over Monet.
Yeah, saucy little minx. Would love to have a cup of tea with her.
Yeah, if that cup of tea involved putting my dick in her vagina.
Yeah. Put on a little Earl Grey mask and fucking go to town. So, anyways, she bought the dildo. That's what we're getting around to. She actually paid for the dildo and purchased it. $40. Guess Monet wasn't really doing it for her. Just kidding, Luke. We love you, buddy.
Do we?
Well, not really.
Do we?
That's just being nice
for
the podcast, but...
I still need your votes, cunt.
Yeah, we need your votes, cunt.
All right. Continue, DJ.
So, the dildo is there. She was kind enough to buy it, and now we got some great highlights out of the match. Some great... behind-the-scenes WWE-esque entrances performed by Monet, incorporating the dildo. This match was much in the same vein as the previous show's 55 Live match. A lot of comedy, a lot of kind of half-serious wrestling, but that is exactly the kind of thing that we expect out of 55 Live. It's great. It keeps the crowd invested. It gives them a chance to decompress after a big match.
Yeah. And
it's just so funny. It's just this comedic wrestling, perfectly done, mixed in with some really great hard-hitting, or flashy athleticism. So for me, it's hitting on all cylinders.
Oh, that tornado DDT onto the scales.
The tornado DDT onto the scales.
Brilliant.
Perfect. The power bomb on top of the bin made a return. The finish. Crash and burn. Boom. Boot right to the top of Mojo Flow's head. 1, 2, fucking 3. Put a dildo in me.
Fucking sick finish. Great ending to the match. Jack actually didn't like the match.
Well, I mean, Jack's a retard then, isn't he?
Because I thought it was good.
It was a great match. I thought it
wasn't exciting enough. There was enough in there to keep us thoroughly entertained, bro. And I will say this. One of my favourite parts was when they were doing the lock-up. on the outside, and Mojo Float obviously pulled up his pants to reveal his ass cheeks, and they're doing the collar elbow tie-up, and they go straight towards Chaos, and Chaos is clearly not happy with the fact that this brown ass has been pushed against him. We should
slice in steel shots of the show as we're talking about it, like...
Yeah, maybe. So we'll see.
But my favourite part of the match was when Luke jumped off the top rope and drove his ass into Jack Wallace's face at high speed. That was a highlight for me. Overall, wrapping up this segment of the show, I think both guys did a great job. Obviously, Monnet and Jack are good friends and they have great chemistry. And I think both guys have knocked it out of the park once again with this 55 Live thing.
Yep.
And I continue to think it's the best thing in WZWA right now, and I continue to look forward to seeing where it's going to go from here on out.
Oh, mate, it's only going to get better and better. You just wait to what happens in March. It's going to be insane. Right. What's next, Steve?
Following that, we had the return match of Arthur Aries versus another rising up-and-coming star, the Rat Kyle Inglis, who's obviously we've been using that up-and-coming tag for many years now. I guess he's not up and coming. He's already arrived.
He's coming. He's just coming.
He's just coming now. So, Aries comes back. He's got quite a lot of history with Kyle. Kyle obviously has been doing some of the best work of his career. He's become one of the top guys in the Federation, constantly going out there and upping his game. Every match he tries to make it better than the match before.
Yep.
Aries comes back. Aries had not missed a beat. No ring rust whatsoever.
Can you believe it? You'd think he would be a bit rusty.
That technically sound style that I had so missed from seeing from Arthur Aries was back in full force. Great blend of, hardcore, outside the ring sort of stuff with that really clean, tight, technical execution from both guys. I think Kyle stepped up his game technically and to try to match with what Aries was doing. I think Aries really impressed on his return. He was looking fitter. He looked like he'd lost a bit of weight. Looked like he was really enjoying being out there, and it was a pleasure to watch.
Definitely. What a way to come back to WZWA. 2 years absence from the ring. Hadn't wrestled at all. Had basically been silent towards me for, I'd say... 2 years, and I was just astounded. The complete change in his attitude. He was very apologetic. I wanted to give him another chance. I always give people another chance if they say sorry. It's all good, And
now he's back.
I don't regret it one bit because I think this is the best match he's ever had.
It would have to be, yeah. It's like even though he hasn't been actively wrestling, maybe he's been watching or something like that, and he is improved, if anything. He's come back and improved. It's like Shawn Michaels coming back after his exile.
How do you improve without wrestling? How do you
improve without actually physically doing any wrestling?
It just goes to show what could be of Arthur Aries if WZWA continued. Or if he stayed for the 2 years, where would he be at now? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. I think that Aries has always been one of my favourites to watch, and I'm glad that he's back, and I don't really have any criticisms whatsoever for
I've got none.
match.
I've got none. I thought it was perfectly done.
After the match, Deacon Whalen comes out. Deacon, buddy, you cut a really great promo. I know that you've had trouble with your promo work in the past, doing that American accent, other things of that nature.
Thank you for not doing it this time.
Was a really good promo, done in your own accent, and everybody loved it, and the whole execution of people thinking that you might have been turning baby, but then you didn't, you stayed heel. Everybody loved it. This whole segment, this whole match, A+ from me. No problems whatsoever. We can move on. There's nothing more to say about it.
I love the touch also of Deacon using his old babyface theme song.
Definitely.
Say you swerved over. Beautifully done, Deacon. Beautifully done.
Excellent work from all three guys involved.
Actually, one thing I do want to say before we put a bow on this match is Aries really regrets missing out on those 2 years. He has so many people he wanted the opportunity to wrestle.
Aries versus Daniel Johnston. Imagine that.
That would be a bloody barn burner, mate.
Classic match.
So where are we at next, DJ?
Actually, you know what? On that point, I will actually wrap it up and just say, I know that you're feeling that you missed out, Aries, and but you know what? Everything happens for a reason, dude. That absence had to happen for you to get here and appreciate where you are now. I think that that's how life works, man. Everything happens for a reason. You can't have the good without the bad. And I think, don't feel bad. Just be happy that you're back. Just enjoy it and just, do some of the best work that you can do, bro. Just enjoy it. We're all glad to have you back. Nobody's mad at you. Just enjoy it, man. Life's too short.
I ain't mad at you, bro. I ain't got nothing but love for you.
Ain't got nothing but love for you, boy. So, after that match, this is
Pull the cock out your mouth, please.
This is already about our fourth match in. 4 for 4. Great matches.
Great
all
start.
in their own way.
Start to the show. We got John Kemsley. We've got Aries making his return.
John motherfucking Kemsley.
We've got 55 Live. We've got Ace coming to the dance with the biggest win of his career. What's next, DJ?
And then guess what we follow it up with?
Oh, don't tell me.
My main man, Vinny G, Vincent Graves versus Steel Kemsley.
Steel Kemsley and Vincent Graves in the first semi-finals of the Commissioner's Cup tournament. As we know, in 2015, we were supposed to hold the Commissioner's Cup tournament, a one-day singles tournament to crown the Commissioner's Cup champion. Unfortunately, that never took place because at the time, Jack was being very difficult to deal with as far as booking shows.
Fucking little faggot.
Little prick. But this is the only way that I could figure out how to make it happen. So, Vinny G, one-on-one with Steel Kemsley in semi-final number 1.
And once again, this is another case. You know what? It says in my notes here, great improvement from both guys. One of the best matches I've seen Steel have in a long time, although he's been really killing it for the past 6 to 8 months anyway. One of the best matches, probably Gareth's best match so far, I'd say, or one of them, in terms of this is a match where he's not going to be able to be carried by another opponent. He has to go out there on his own and do it, and I think that they pulled it off. Some fucking amazing spots. Very hard hitting. Those kicks that Steel delivered were fantastic. All of Gareth's shit hit the mark, and it was aggressive, and everything flowed really well, and the finish caught me by surprise. Well executed, perfectly flowed. I could not have been happier with how this match went. I think both guys came out of it looking like stars, and I think that this is hopefully a sign of great things to come for both of these guys in the concluding stage of WZWA.
A lot of good physicality between the two. It didn't look like it was...
looked like a fight.
It looked like a fight.
It didn't look
fraudulent.
Fight. Didn't look like,
Didn't look like they were, helping one another out here and there. They were really attacking each other and hitting each other with some nice kicks and strikes. I think it's really cool that, Vincent Graves got a pretty big win here because, obviously when he came into WZWA, we had all the bookings sorted out, so we had to kind of fit him where we could over the last year, and I feel like he's been at a loose end for a little bit here and there. And
he's managing to become an integral part of the show. I think everyone's enjoying, Vinny's matches. I think he's enjoying it. I just really think that this was a great match, and I was really happy to see two people that I kind of mentored in wrestling go out there against each other and have a great match. I think everything worked out for the best.
And that in itself is a nice little story for the match. And I also like that Vincent makes sure that he hits his moveset every match. The sidewalk slam, the leg drops, the big boot. He always hits them all. And, of course, that graveyard smash to finish off the match. Shit camera shot, but it was very well executed. And I liked that he did it he didn't stop and then hit it. He did it on the momentum that Steel had coming off the top rope.
And I'm going to say this publicly for the first time, because I know Vinny G loves his sidewalk slams. Best sidewalk slam in WA yarding since Diffuser.
Brilliant.
Best sidewalk slam going, motherfucker.
Brilliant.
Great sidewalk slam. So no criticisms there. Great work. 5 for 5. Next we move on to Rex Regum versus Phoenix.
Well,
interesting match.
Very interesting match. And what I want to say about this match is that I think this is one of Phoenix's best matches since returning to backyard wrestling after a 10-year absence.
Most definitely.
He's been mainly doing hardcore in the last year. Okay, Phoenix has proved himself with the hardcore, so it was good to see him go out there, have a technical match with some great false finishes. You didn't know who was going to win from one match to another. It was very, very good. I was very impressed with these two. I liked the finish. I was just really impressed with this matchup, and I knew going in that this was going to be good. And now it's 3 matches in a row that Regum has had one of the best matches of the show.
And again, another testament to Rex's ability in the ring. Obviously, you know from pretty much all my past podcasts and interviews how much of a huge fan of Rex that I am. He's one of my favorite opponents. And again, another testament to his ability to take the less experienced wrestler, at least technically in this case, and really bring out that great polished technical style. Everything looked good. They built it up right. It was a hard-hitting match. It was back and forth. Both guys were able to look great. I think that, as you said, Rex executed one of the better cannonballs I've seen from him in a long time. And I was really, really happy with this.
I loved the array of moves that Phoenix hit in this match. We see a Falcon Arrow. We see the jumping tornado. We see the pump handle power bomb. We see so many. That power bomb, that sit down power bomb he did from the leapfrog. Awesome, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, really, just that's the great thing about Phoenix. He's always trying to be different, always trying to go out of that box a little bit. And I think that this was the perfect marriage between Phoenix's really kind of chaotic style of wrestling and Rex's really sound technical stuff. So again, not really much criticisms that we can say about this. Another great match. I was really happy with it. It was one of my most favorite matches of this show. And great job to both guys.
Well done, guys. Very good. And of course, the finish, Chaos getting his revenge on Phoenix from earlier in the show with the top shot to the head.
If there is a nitpicking thing, I think that finish did get a little bit sloppy. It was decently executed, but I think that in the
There was a hesitation when Regan went
that's a good way of putting it.
When he kicked out and to roll back over onto Phoenix, there was a slight hesitation there. It needed to be just in one motion, boom, 1, 2, 3.
So I think I'll say it at this point, if there's anything that overall we need to say to the whole Fed, it's that if you're doing a run-in or an interference or something of that nature, getting involved in a match in some way, really take the time and discuss it several times and make sure that everyone's on the same page.
Because we've had, already there's been several interferences so far in the show that have been a little bit disjointed.
So just really make sure that you can, that you are on the same page and that everybody knows what they're doing. And I think that, obviously, like we've stated before, it is nitpicking, but, if there's one thing to take away from this podcast, criticism-wise, really try and get on the same page with that kind of thing, because it's, if done right, it can turn a great match into, a classic segment. So
yes, and there's an example, actually, that I've got. I remember one time I was wrestling Chaos, Twisted Metal 6, and Ice came in for a run-in on the match, and we had mapped it out perfectly.
What a sequence.
The sequencing was great. We just nailed every little bit, and it was very intricate, and I'd come up with this idea. I just sat there and wrote this finish for ages, and the guys just nailed it. We talked about it, boom, we nailed it. It was a great interference. That's probably one of my favourite interferences that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it looked as good as anything you would see on any wrestling show, anywhere in the world. And I think that is the benchmark for that kind of thing. You really have to nail that stuff. That's almost more important than choreographing the match, because we know that the boys can all work matches, good matches, but I think that if anything lets us down as a roster, and this includes myself, it's just we have to tighten up on our interferences and our run-ins and stuff like that. But otherwise, once again, excellent effort from both guys. Really happy with the match.
Have we missed Big Red versus Mykonos?
We're going to talk about that now.
Cool.
Big Red versus Mykonos. This match, from a technical standpoint, DJ's favourite match of the show. I mean, what a match. The psychology of of Ryan Tate working on Mykonos' knee. Mykonos sold that knee, even if he was trying to slug his way through the match. great use of psychology. Wouldn't expect anything less from two wrestlers of this caliber. Some great sequences, some excellent false finishes, like the running super kick when Mitch was seated on the ground. Great false finish. Great false finish from that very first spinning elbow that Mykonos delivered. Really enjoyed it. Everything was crisp. It was hard hitting. It looked like a fight. It was two of the best technicians we have in WZWA just going out there and showing why they always put on these great quality matches, because this was a fantastic match, and had it not been a part of a show that was already so stacked, all the other matches that surrounded it, this was a main event caliber match of the show on basically any other show. But it was edged out just barely by a match that we're going to get to in a moment. But this match, because I'm a lover of technical wrestling, my personal favorite of the show, fantastic match. Love watching both of these guys do their thing. They make it look easy. Just everything hit. Everything was, on
everything
point.
Was crisp.
Everything was crisp, very smooth. Loved it, guys.
And I'll say this about Ryan Tate versus Mykonos. The 3 matches they had in 2012, better each and every time. Then they had 2 more in 2014. Also 2 very excellent matches. This one's my favourite out of all of the ones that they've had. What a way to end it. This was called the final battle between these two. The final chance to see Mykonos and Ryan Tate. If you haven't seen it, I suggest go to YouTube right now and check it out. Great false finishes, and I'd say a match that would even fit on any pro wrestling show card in this state.
Fantastic match. And
I don't care what you say, Delcano. That match works in a pro setting.
It was a very good match, and it was a pleasure to watch. And yeah, just kudos to both guys. So now we're at, I believe it's 6 for 6 great matches.
Yep.
Maybe even more than that now. Even 7 for 7, sorry. No, it's even more than that. We must be
8.
Yeah, it must be 8 for 8. Great matches so far on the card. Moving on to what I believe...
the Dream Match Series.
Will be voted match of the show. Clint Marshall, first time one-on-one against Andy Antilochus.
Oh, bro.
Take it away, Carl.
Man, okay, this was one of the matches that I always regretted so much when Zibby retired last Christmas Carnage. Deep in my heart of hearts, I was so disappointed that we never got to see Antilochus versus Clint Marshall, because Zibby was not coming back. There was no chance of it. He said,
wasn't. He was deep in the heart of Texas.
I'm going to Texas.
Riding
I'm studying
on that fucking
there.
convoy, bro.
I don't know when I'll be back. I want to have one last match. Cool, let's do it. Now, he's come back. 3 matches in a row. He's had great performances, but this match with Antilochus, dream match for me to see. Personally, as a fan, this is a match that I wanted to see. And I knew they were going to knock it out of the park. And holy fuck, they did.
Fantastic match. Back and forth. Hard hitting. Each guy hit an array of different moves.
Oh, when Zibby did that last ride attempt and Antilochus slipped behind and hit that jumping neck breaker.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
So crisp. Both guys showed off their versatility in the ring. This match had the crowd eating out of their hands. It was
eating out of their dick, actually.
Eating out of their dick. Just trying to get that smegma from underneath the foreskin.
That Richard fromage.
Right where the mushroom tip was, just nom nom nom. Trying to get it out of there.
Just trying to get that cum onto their tongue.
Trying to get that fucking cum. What a fucking match. Seriously. I mean, this is another match, speaking of Ryan versus Mykonos, which could fit onto a pro card.
Definitely.
It was an amazing match. There was no sloppiness whatsoever throughout the whole thing. Everything was executed perfectly, and I think that the crowd really appreciated it, and I think that was probably match of the show.
I love how they just kicked it into high gear immediately. The kick to the gut and then the axe kick. spoon, the crowd are fucking into it.
I mean, yeah, just the brogue kick to Antilochus's face.
The German suplex.
Suplex.
Unbelievable amount of shit that went down. And I would love to see 2-3 more matches from these two against one another. But unfortunately, a series.
You know, if WZWA was going to continue,
this
best of 5 series.
This would continue.
Even a best of 5 series or something of that nature.
Winner gets a WZWA title shot or something like that.
Yeah.
That would definitely be on the cards. There is no doubt in my mind.
I mean, what a match that was. That was really incredible to watch.
And I think it was good for Antilochus because I think he's been very disappointed in his performances in the last 18 months. He never seems happy. He's a perfectionist. He wants good matches. And Clint Marshall certainly pulled that one out of him. And Jacob, too, was on fire as well. They were both just firing on all cylinders. Great contest, guys. Thank you very much for doing that for us and for just making it so enjoyable for me and not letting me down because I'd built this up in my mind for years that this would be one of the best matches I've ever seen, and it was.
And on that note, we have you, Mr. Aston Crude, against Alex Stone, filling in for Dan Zeppelin, who was unable to compete.
I'll give the backing story. So it was supposed to be me versus Dan Zeppelin in the final battle. He was the next person on the hit list. Dan, at the time, unfortunately, he's had a lot of video editing to do for his work, and something corrupted that needed to be uploaded that day. And unfortunately, when it corrupted, he had to re-render the whole thing, which would be a couple of hours of wait. And by the time it was done, he got in the car, came to the arena, but we had already agreed at that point, I'm going to go wrestle Alex because 3 Dog didn't show up. So, it was unfortunate, but at some point me and Dan are going to try and figure out a way to have a match, whether we do empty arena number 2, I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. So, very, just funny how things happen all of a sudden. I'm wrestling Alex Stone for the first time in nearly, 3 years at this point, and I didn't think I was going to wrestle him ever again, but wow.
Fantastic match, very smooth, great story that was told, some really great false finishes. Both you guys worked well together. Alex, of course, is a very underrated wrestler in the WZWA. Fantastic match. I think that this was a real kind of...
surprise treat.
A real sports entertainment type match as well. Just a real solid, American-style wrestling match. Nothing too flashy, but just nonetheless a really solid, really smooth match. And it was a real treat to watch.
I'm just happy to walk away from a match, because sometimes I can be very critical of myself, but there are those times, like the empty arena match I had with you, or the match I had with Chaos last year. I have those matches, and afterward I'm like, we fucking nailed it. We fucking nailed it. Yeah. Nothing looked fucking too bad. There was a few problems with some of my front bumping, but I'm going to work on that. I've been working on my bouncing off the ropes, so I know I've got that fixed. So I'm just going to work on my front bumping. I've got into some bad habits, but just fucking stoked that I got to have one last battle with Alex Stone. I thought the finish was awesome too. The going for the running knee once again, and I ended up fucking clobbering him with the best super kick I've done in about a year. I was very happy with that super kick. And I tell you what, Alex, if you're listening to this, you take the super kick better than anyone, bro. You wait for it, and then you bump appropriately, and that's what I like. You leave your chin out there because you trust me. And a lot of people, a lot of the time, when I go for that super kick, they shy away because they're a little bit worried. I don't blame them. You got a foot coming for your fucking face, but people need to trust the fact that I know exactly where to plant that foot as soon as I lift my leg. So I'm very proud of the match, bro. Thank you very much for putting me over. I really appreciate the opportunity to go out there one more time with you, and here's hoping that you will be able to be there for the remainder of WCWA, each and every event, get those dream matches out the way, and put you back on the pedestal that you deserve to be on.
Yeah, so, I mean, closing thoughts on this one. Great match. Very happy with it. Both of you guys did great.
There you go. Alex Stone's returned now as well.
Yeah, so, I mean...
bro, you know what we forgot?
What?
Phaser's return.
Ah, shit. There we go.
Okay, so we had Aries. We've had Alex Stone, but the previous match...
So after the conclusion of Clint Marshall versus Antilochus, who else should return but Phaser, looking fucking jacked, in great shape, comes out, nails the fuck out of Clint Marshall with a couple of clotheslines.
Great clothesline, and then the spear.
Nails a fucking spear.
Fuck, man.
Nails his fucking finisher. The Olympic Slam, setting up a match between those two. I'm excited to have Phaser back. I think everyone else is. He's one of the best guys in the Fed, most underrated guys, and I'm keen. I'm excited.
His run in WZWA has been somewhat tainted due to the coming and going and coming and going. Not his fault, not our fault. It's just the way things worked out. He's a very busy guy. He plays football. He's a musician. He went on like a bit of a tour of the US last year, which is why 2016 saw no Phaser. But he was in line for a pretty good push. So we hadn't seen him in quite some time. I'd spoke to him a few times. I said to him, I'd love for you to come back and just have one more match before you move to Melbourne. So he will be moving to Melbourne on the 18th of February. So this Sunday, instead of having Clint Marshall versus Phaser at Christmas Carnage, this Sunday at the WZWA Arena, we're going to be having a very special edition of Backyard TV. It's going to be Phaser's farewell match, one-on-one with his former tag team partner in the Revolutionaries, Clint Marshall. It's going to be fucking great. I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. Because with that interaction that we saw from those two, can you imagine a full match from them with the role that Clint Marshall's been on and the athleticism and how fucking great and how naturally talented Phaser is? It's going to be one of the matches of the year.
It's going to be fantastic, and hopefully on that Backyard TV we'll hopefully see a couple of other people popping up, maybe have a couple of other matches.
Yep. Hopefully. So I'm excited about it.
But moving on now to the main event of the show.
Is that it? Are we at the main event already?
That's
no.
That's the final one.
At the main event?
The much anticipated, much ballyhooed rematch between the WZWA champion, the Law, Blade Shaw.
The All-American Australian
Blade
Shaw.
The Law, Blade Shaw. Versus Dark Ice.
The Suburban Nightmare. Dark Ice.
They come out there, two big bulls going at it. This match was probably, by comparison, not as good as their previous match.
The previous one was tremendous.
It is very difficult to capture lightning in a bottle, and this match was still very good, although I think it could have gone on for a little bit longer.
Why is that?
Well, I think that Ice got injured, so which is a shame, but if not for that, I think it would have gone on for longer, and I think it would have equaled their previous match. But as it stands, as its own separate match, this was a great match. I really enjoyed watching it. A lot of well-executed stuff. Considering the size of these two guys, they both nailed some great moves. Their size didn't seem to impede him in any way. Obviously, Ice working as the smaller guy in the match. I really quite enjoyed this match.
I enjoyed it too. It did end a bit early. My idea was to get everyone around the ring to make it a bigger deal, because we've done that a few times in WZWA's history. You versus Steel Kemsley, me versus Johnny V. It's happened a few times when the time it felt right. I was about to get everyone around the ring, and then all of a sudden the match was over. And I was confused because I didn't think Ice had hurt himself, because he seemed fine to me. So I was disappointed that the match ended early, but there's nothing I can do. If Ice says he's hurt and he can't continue, then that's the way that the cookie crumbled.
Yeah, so, but, I mean, great match between two great wrestlers. It's a shame that Ice got injured, but, you know, what they did do in the match was great, and Blade, once again, continues his run of being one of the strongest champions we've ever had in WZWA. Every single match, he just gives it his all, knocks it out of the park. It's a pleasure to watch this title run. He's probably one of the most improved wrestlers ever in WA yarding.
A few months before he became the All-American Australian, I was like, Blade, if we're going with this idea of you winning the title in fucking 7 months' time, you got to improve. You got to do something about it, and he's done that.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I heard someone say, I don't remember who it was. Someone said, "Oh, I reckon it's time for Blade's title reign to end." I don't agree. I think he's continually hitting it out the park. He's proved to be a mainstay, main eventer that we've never had, because we've always been too worried about getting the belt on the next person and the next person to make sure that everyone gets their turn.
No, I mean, I personally would be happy if Blade held the title all the way through to the end of WZWA. I think that why fix something that's not broken? I think that, this is Blade's time in the sun. It's the cap on his career as a yarder. We all love him so much. He's such a great friend and a great person, and he does so much for everybody else, and he's always there for everybody, tries to do right by everybody. He's a good human being, and I think that he deserves this title run, and he's, really, I think he would deserve it no matter what, but the fact that he's been improving so much in the ring is just an added bonus, and I'm super thrilled, I'm super proud. Obviously, as you know, me and Blade are quite close. Good friends, so it's just fantastic, and I'm really, we say this basically every podcast and every time we talk about a show, how good Blade is, and it's no different here.
Yeah,
he's just doing fantastic.
And of course, great way to end the show as usual with Blade holding the belt high. We'll see where it goes from here as the next show, DJ.
Yes,
one-on-one with Mykonos for the WZWA Heavyweight Championship.
Who, me?
No, Blade Shaw.
Oh, Blade is.
One-on-one with Mykonos for the WZWA Heavyweight Championship.
That's right. Blade versus Mykonos. I'm very excited to see that match. I think that...
They wrestled once before, but I believe it was Blade's third match back, and he was still a bit rusty. He hadn't wrestled in a few years, 4 years at that point. And I feel like now, the Blade of now is a completely different performer than he was before.
This match is going to fucking kick ass. I think that's without question, this match is going to be fantastic. I think that it's one to really look forward to. I
love those title matches at the Battlefield Brawl events that we have. Because
it's always a fun title. It's always like an interesting title match.
Because it's always like someone who doesn't usually get the opportunity gets the opportunity. So the first one was Brian Lowe, which obviously helped his ascension. And then the next one was Ice versus Phaser. That was tremendous. And then the following year, I believe it was Antilochus versus Alex Stone. That was awesome. And then the following year, which is this one, it will be Blade Shaw and Mykonos.
So I'm really excited about it. I think Battlefield Brawl is going to continue the streak of great shows. It's another stacked
Let's talk about
card.
Battlefield Brawl. Let's talk about the rest of the card.
Well, all right.
We've only gone an hour.
Let's talk about it. Let's run it down.
See if we can remember every match that's on the card. Daniel Johnston, 1-on-1 with Clyde for the Backyard Championship.
Very excited. Obviously, Clyde and I are really good friends behind the scenes. Clyde's made it clear to me several times that he feels like I'm one of the people that's influenced his wrestling the most. I'm very excited about wrestling him. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. He and I have already been discussing it via text message.
And this is your first ever Backyard Championship match?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I don't believe you've gone for that belt before.
So, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for this match. So, we've also got the Fatal 4-Way. Chaos versus Phoenix versus Rex Regum versus Steel Kemsley.
Number one contendership.
All four of these guys have some form of history.
Yep.
Now it's all being intertwined. What the fuck is going to happen here? A hardcore match, Fatal 4-Way between all these guys that are historically known for having these chaotic, frenzied matches. Even Steel, if you go back to his feud with El Papacito, Steel's really the wild card in this thing. You never know what the fuck he's going to do.
You never know what's going to go on, man.
I'm expecting him to probably take some pretty gnarly bumps.
Oh, it's going to be mental.
It's going to be fucking mental, bro.
You made a good point before, the intertwining of all the stories. You have Rex and Steel, former tag team partners, former tag team champions. You have Rex, who just beat Phoenix at the last show. They have a bit of a problem. Chaos and Phoenix are feuding at the moment, so they have a problem. Chaos and Steel have worked together before several times, And Phoenix, obviously, in that tag match a few months ago, teaming with Clyde, failed to defeat Steel Kemsley and Big Ace. So a lot of history between these four. Should be a cracking match for the number one contendership for Kyle Inglis's World Hardcore title. Speaking of the World Hardcore title, DJ, Kyle Inglis, the Rat, defends against the Cannibal Dan Zeppelin and what many would say would be a hardcore dream match.
Yeah, I think that this has the potential, if Dan Zeppelin brings it in this match, this has the potential to be a classic hardcore match. Maybe one of the best hardcore matches in WZWA history if all goes to plan. Definitely going to be a sleeper contender for match of the show. And yeah, like most of the matches on this card, I'm very excited to see what happens.
Who knows what's going on? This is a dream match for me. I mean, Dan has wrestled every single hardcore wrestler in WZWA, and the last one is Kyle Inglis. Can Dan Zeppelin win the belt back? Who knows? We have to wait and see. Following that, we've got other great matches on the card. Rockstar Alex Stone in the Dream Match Series, one-on-one with the revolutionary Clint Marshall.
Definitely
First time ever.
Going to be a fantastic match. These two have always been in the same locker rooms. They've shared the same cards many times. And now we're finally going to get to see them mix it up one-on-one. And I really expect this to be a little bit of an unorthodox match. I expect it to be, a really entertaining match. And I expect that, coming off of Alex's last great performance and Clint's recent hot streak of fucking match of the show contenders, I think that this match is really going to be something special to watch.
Absolutely, bro. Next match. The final battle. Hardcore God Antilochus one-on-one with the Lord of the Ring, Luke Monet.
Well, these two...
Jack at ringside, Regan at ringside.
These two are no strangers to each other. They're both members of the Originals. I am going to keep it short and sweet. I expect this match to be a fucking barn burner. End of story. I expect that this is going to be fantastic. I expect that it's going to be high flying. I expect that it's going to be a really fun match.
Now, I don't want to toot my own horn, but this could possibly be Big Ace's biggest match of his career. Going for the GBYWN Australian Heavyweight Championship, his first ever singles championship opportunity, one-on-one with myself, Aston, Crude. DJ, Ace has been on fire lately with big victories over Luke Monet, Kilowatt Chaos. What do you expect from this one?
I think it has the potential to be very interesting. How are these two clashing styles and differing experience levels going to play into each other in this match? I think that this is, going to be an intriguing one to watch, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I don't really know what to expect, but I'm feeling confident that it's going to, be a good experience for everybody watching, and I'm hoping that Ace will continue his recent streak of excellence, and I think that you're the man to do that. So,
yeah, I've got a good history, I guess you could say, of working with people who are very green and having a good match with them. If we look back at ICWS's history, when I came back in 2011, some great matches with Tim Justice, with Brian Lowe, a great match with Dante Daniels, who hadn't wrestled in quite some time. I had done very well there, and in WZWA, in comparison, I had Acid's first real proper match in a ring, and I thought that was very decent as well, and I made him look pretty good. So I'm really looking forward to doing everything I can to make sure that Big Ace comes out of this looking like a bigger star than he did walking in.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be good.
We got Deacon Whalen one-on-one with Big Red Ryan Tate.
I've seen these two wrestle in ICWS before. Wasn't bad. But I think that now that Deacon's really been improving in the interim, I expect this to be a great match. I think that Ryan's really going to probably bring the best out in Deacon Whalen, and I think that Deacon is going to rise to the occasion in this one. And I think that this is going to be a really, really solid mid-card match.
Me too. And it'll be the first time these two have a singles match in a ring. They have wrestled previously at ICWS for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. So I'm looking forward to seeing what can happen here, and hopefully, for Deacon Whalen's sake, he can get out of this losing streak that he's been on for the last few months.
Yes, hopefully, although that's no easy task with Ryan Tate.
With Big Red in there, and he's been on fire. 2 big wins, one over Mykonos, one over Clint Marshall. So, Ryan Tate is really... He's finished his losing streak, and he's on a bit of a winning streak now, so it'll be interesting to see how these two go out there and do their thing.
Definitely.
Another match, as per usual, is a tradition that we have at our Battlefield Brawl events. It is the Battle Royal to start off the show. 10, 12 men, who knows how many people, all vying for the final position in the Battlefield Brawl match.
I mean, what's your prediction for this Battle Royal?
Well, I can't really give a prediction because I know who's winning the match because I'm booking it. So,
well, look, I'm calling my prediction. My main man, Vinny G.
Vinny G. Well, Vinny G is quite a top contender for the match. You'll have the LWO in there. You might have Daniel Johnston in there.
They're not going to win. The LWO is not going to win.
You'll have Mr. 55 Live, who won it last year.
Jack Wallace.
The year before, still Kemsley won it. And I like to say this. The first time we did this Battle Royal and everyone enters together, we did the old Raw is War theme song. The next year we did the first ever, the first SmackDown theme song everyone walked out to. This time, well...
WZW Nitro.
Maybe. Or maybe Sunday Night Heat. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Well, Sunday Night Heat is something of a popular little meme around the WZWA.
It is.
So, these matches are always fun for me because you get to see a bunch of guys that maybe never wrestle each other one-on-one, mixing it up. So, again, another thing to be excited for. This is really shaping up to be another stacked card.
Absolutely. And, of course, the 55 Live Open Challenge once again.
Of course. And that will, of course, be probably the greatest thing on the show.
And I don't know if there's anything I've missed. That's probably every match on the show. Of course, the Battlefield Brawl match. DJ, you don't like the Battlefield Brawl. Why?
I just feel that it's a difficult match to do. There's a lot of moving parts. I think that, on one hand it's fun because you're in there with a lot of your friends, you're having fun, you're in the midst of a pretty big match. I just personally find one-on-one or tag matches to be, more fun for myself personally to wrestle in. But I'm going to be in there. I'm going to give it my all. Maybe this year I can be proved wrong. Maybe by the end of this one I'll be like, how much fun was that? So
hopefully.
It's the last opportunity that we're going to get to do one. So I'm hoping for big things from it.
Are you hoping for any surprises? If you could pick 3 surprises that you'd like to see, who would they be?
Diffuser, Pirate Pete, and Wicked Nick James.
You don't want Pirate Pete in the brawl.
No, nobody does.
Well, the ball's in your court with Wicked Nick James. The only way that's happening is if you convince him.
He'll never come down from Bunbury to do it, so...
I thought he was moving back up.
He is, but I don't know when, but... who the fuck knows, hey?
Alright, well, the open invitation is there, Wicked Nick James. You're not listening. But if you are, the invitation is there to be in the brawl. Do you really want Pirate Pete?
No.
You really want Diffuser though?
Yeah.
There's no way.
I'd love
that too. But
I'd love Diffuser to be in it. I'd love to see Rusty enter in the match.
Chris Cryptic.
Yeah, Chris Cryptic. Chris Zeppelin.
CJ Phoenix. Knuckles,
of course.
That won't happen.
John Kemsley. Would be fun to see him give it a bell.
Wait, not John Kemsley. John motherfucking Kemsley. All right, DJ, we should sign off there. I'm looking forward to the Battlefield Brawl, one of my favourite shows. Obviously, the Brawl used to be at Christmas Carnage, but because we've had to push back the Brawl to February now, it's its own show for the first time. Looking forward to it, DJ. Hostile Backyard Showdown. We knocked it out of the park. And
I think that this next show is going to be a similar thing. We're going to knock it out of the park again.
Tight.
So I think it's going to be pure.
It's going to be very pure.
And I think that, it's going to be as awesome as John motherfucking Kemsley.
Thank you for listening, everyone. We will be with you next time when we review Battlefield Brawl. I'm Aston Crude, alongside Daniel Johnston.
And thanks for joining us.
We'll see you, or you'll hear from us, next time.
Next motherfucking time.